Hey everyone, it's Casey Neistat here. Today we're talking about a situation that no traveler wants to face. That gut-wrenching moment when you see canceled next to your flight number. It's happened to the best of us, the frustration, the chaos, the feeling of being completely stuck. But don't worry, I've got your back. I've been in this situation more times than I can count, sprinting through airports, wrestling with airline reps, and figuring out how to get where I need to be. Over the years, I've learned a thing or two about navigating canceled flights, and today, I'm sharing my hard-won wisdom with you. We're gonna break down exactly what to do, step by step, so you can stay calm, collected, and most importantly, get back on track. Trust me, a little preparation goes a long way in these situations. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's turn this travel nightmare into a manageable inconvenience. The second you see that dreaded canceled notification, whether it's on the departures board or a notification on your phone, you gotta spring into action. Don't just stand there in disbelief hoping it's a mistake. Trust me, it rarely is. Whip out your phone, open that airline app, and get ready to work some magic. First things first, try calling the airline's customer service line. I know, waiting on hold is the absolute worst, but sometimes it's the fastest way to get rebooked. Plus, while you're on hold, you can multitask like a boss. Open up the airline's website, check for alternative flights, and see if you can snag a seat before everyone else floods the system. Remember those kiosks they have at the airport? Yeah, those can be your best friend right now. Sometimes the kiosks actually update with available flights faster than the app or website. So, if you're already at the airport, make a beeline for those bad boys and see what you can find. Alright, while you're busy working the phones and the kiosks, it's time to get tactical. Every airline has a cancellation policy, and trust me, you need to know yours like the back of your hand. This is where things get interesting. These policies can be as long and confusing as an IKEA instruction manual, but buried in all that legal jargon are some golden nuggets that can save your trip. Things like meal vouchers, hotel accommodations, and even compensation for your troubles. Yeah, you heard me right. Sometimes airlines actually owe you money when they mess up. So, do your research, people. Familiarize yourself with your rights before you travel, because when you're armed with information, you're empowered to negotiate and get what you deserve. Knowledge is power, especially when you're dealing with canceled flights. Okay, so you've contacted the airline, you've brushed up on your passenger rights, but here's the thing. Sometimes rebooking on the same airline just isn't the best option. Maybe their next available flight is days away, or maybe the rebooking process is moving slower than a sloth in a snowstorm. That's when you gotta think outside the plane, my friends. Look into alternative airlines, even if it means flying into a different airport. Sometimes, a little flexibility can save you a whole lot of headache. And don't forget about trains and buses. They might not be as glamorous as flying, but they can be a lifesaver when you're in a pinch. I once took a 10-hour train ride through the Swiss Alps because my flight was canceled. Was it what I had planned? Nope. Was it an incredible experience that I'll never forget? Absolutely. Sometimes these unexpected detours can lead to the best adventures. Alright, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, money. Listen, airlines don't always advertise it, but you might be entitled to some serious compensation for your canceled flight. We're talking vouchers for future travel, refunds, maybe even cold hard cash. Don't be afraid to ask about it. The worst they can say is no, right? Be polite but persistent. Explain how the cancellation has disrupted your plans and emphasize the inconvenience it's caused. Remember, airlines have a responsibility to take care of their passengers, and sometimes that means putting their money where their mouth is. And here's a pro tip: document everything. Keep track of all your communication with the airline, take photos of any receipts or documents, and keep a detailed record of any expenses you incur because of the cancellation. This will come in handy if you need to file a claim or dispute a charge later on. I know, easier said than done, right? Canceled flights are stressful, there's no denying that. But trust me, losing your cool is only going to make a bad situation worse. Remember those airline staff you've been dealing with? They're not the enemy, they're just trying to do their jobs. So, take a deep breath, put on your best, I got this face, and approach the situation with a positive attitude. A little kindness and understanding can go a long way. Plus, when you're calm and collected, you're more likely to think clearly and make rational decisions. Remember, this too shall pass. It might feel like the end of the world right now, but it's not. You'll get through this, you'll reach your destination, and you'll have one heck of a story to tell. And hey, maybe you'll even get a free flight out of it. So there you have it, my friends, my tried and true guide to surviving the dreaded canceled flight. Remember, the key is to be prepared, be proactive, and most importantly, don't panic. These situations are never fun, but with a little bit of know-how and a whole lot of patience, you can turn that travel nightmare into a manageable inconvenience. Now go forth and conquer those airports, my fellow travelers. And remember, the journey is half the adventure, even when it throws you a curveball. Safe travels, and I'll catch you in the next video.